All right, all right, all right. Come on in, folks. All right.
Winning.
Amazing.
Great.
Why? Why?
Because I'm a socialist too, and it feels nice to have someone represent the policies I've believed in for so long. Government.
When has socialism ever worked?
I don't know why it does this.
How are we feeling about Mom Donnie winning?
Amazing.
Touch people. Don't.
Great.
Why? Why?
Because I'm a socialist too, and it feels nice to have someone represent the policies I've believed in for so long in the government.
When has socialism ever worked?
Socialism has not ever worked other than in Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and everything.
Those are some of the most capitalist countries in the entire world according to the Economic Freedom Index.
That is actually not true.
It actually is true.
They have socialist policies.
No, they don't. They have social welfare nets, but they have freer markets in the United States.
Socialism?
Socialism, well, you mean in the Marxian sense?
No, because socialism isn't a Marxist ideology.
Actually, it is. Marx uses communism. No, Marx uses the two interchangeably. Socialism is a system. On page 46 of the German ideology, Karl Marx says that communism is just allegiance to socialism.
And what is modern day socialism, according to Bernie Sanders and every politician who represents it, and not Marx, who was born in the 1800s?
Hold up. Karl Marx is the father of socialism.
No, Karl Marx is the father of
Yes, he is. No, he uses them interchangeably.
So all of the
They're the
social
same thing.
welfare programs that work for Finland, that Mamdani wants to have
that's not
here.
socialism. Socialism is when you have
but
social
those
welfare
programs
nets.
work for Finland and in Sweden and all of those countries. And
No, they would be better if they didn't have them, but they do. They're still more capitalist in the United States, though, because their markets are freer.
okay, if they're more capitalist in the United States, but they have those social welfare programs, what is their problem with Mamdani, which continuing to use New York as a capitalist state, including those social welfare
Because
programs?
Mamdani wants to implement policies that will get people hurt. He wants to cut the balls off the police force, and he also wants to do a bunch of free stuff that we can't afford to pay for.
How do you know that we can't afford to pay?
Well, how are we going to pay for it?
How are we going to pay for it with tax money? With tax
Okay,
dollars?
where the tax dollars?
So as you can see, he's in New York City and he's talking to people about Zoran Mamdani or whatever the fuck his name is. Talking to them about him. And this woman's a socialist and she thinks that all this stuff is just fucking great and dandy. So, and the reason I'm showing this, and we're talking about Islamofication and Islamophobia or patriotism tonight. So basically, I think, in my opinion, is that New York City is going to slowly but surely turn into a much larger scale Dearborn. Okay. Hamoud Abdul and Zohran Mamdani are going to become good buddies. Mark my words. I'm calling it right now, if they're not already. Okay. This is the only two mayors in the country that are Muslim. All right. So, in my opinion, they're going to become good friends. And Zohran Mamdani is going to learn from Hamoud Abdullah or Abdul, whatever the fuck it is, how he did it. And he's going to do it on a fucking 100 times larger scale. That's what's going to happen here. Mark my words.
Tax dollars are coming from all of the billionaires and wealthy people.
Well, they already pay. The top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. Yeah.
Can you
IRS data reflects that the top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. The top 50% pays 90% of all taxes.
So when billionaires go online and they say they haven't paid a single tax dollar since 2010, you think that they're lying?
Literally not true. It's because they're investing in other places that the government gives them breaks, but they still pay in volume more taxes than anybody else. And furthermore, no, it's not true. No. The top 1% pays 50% of all taxes. But I ask you, so if you tax the rich to oblivion, what happens when the rich leave the city? Who's to tax then?
They won't leave the city.
Why not? They've already done it in California.
Because in New York State, we have Wall Street. They're not leaving.
Yes.
And so
I
what
agree.
If they can't leave, then who are you going to tax?
They're all going to leave, and they're going to take their income with them.
Oh, the middle class, right?
Yes, actually, the middle class.
Oh, okay, so you explained it. So we're going to tax the shit out of the middle class when the rich people leave after you tax the shit out of them.
I think we should tax the shit out of everybody, yes. I think the middle class should be taxed 50% like it does in Sweden.
Okay, that is wild.
The tax rate in Sweden and Finland is 46%, and right now they are number 3 in education. They have the best country for women's health. They have the best.
What's the citation for that?
I can pull it up right now.
Yeah, pull it up.
I will
How do you measure best for racism?
Very easily. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, what's the metric? What metric do you measure? What metric do you measure?
Her, dude.
YouTube?
I love this dude.
Yep.
I just discovered this guy last night, but he is absolutely a stud, man.
What policies do you believe?
He's a stallion for real.
Well, give me a sector.
You know what?
I mean, like,
deport all illegal immigrants.
He don't give a
ban
fuck.
abortion.
And he don't back down.
No.
How do you feel about that?
I think you did something that's wrong.
And why?
Because I think that out of necessity to protect self-interest and interests of others, every genetically distinct human individual ought to have the right not to be unjustly aggressed upon.
Do you think I murdered a human being?
No, because murder is a legal term. It means the unjust killing or the unlawful killing of a human being. In New York, it's
So what's
legal.
wrong with an abortion?
I have a moral qualm with it.
What is your moral qualm with it?
My moral qualm is that every human being ought to have the right not to be unjustly aggressed upon.
And is that from religion or is that from law?
No, it's from subjective morality.
So you're not Christian. It's just
I recently converted to Christian, but I've been pro-life for years prior to being a Christian.
Why are you pro-life if you aren't Christian?
Again, I just said because I think that every human being, genetically distinct human individual ought to have the right not to be unjustly aggressed upon.
Genetically distinct individual.
Yeah.
Okay, so you believe that at conception it is life.
Do you contest that?
Well, you think conception is life.
Yeah.
So have you
What
had
do you
sex with
think,
a woman on
chat?
birth control
Tell me
or
what
an
you think
IUD?
in the chat.
I have.
Does
but
life begin
here's
at
the difference between
conception
you and I is that
or
if I
later?
create a human being, I'm willing to carry it. I'm willing to
When
have.
you have sex with a woman with birth control or an
Hit that
IUD,
like and subscribe
usually what
button for me,
happens is
guys.
the baby is created.
Wait, not an IUD.
Yes,
no,
actually, I have an IUD.
No. You asked if I've had sex with a woman with an IUD, and no, I haven't.
Okay, either one, birth control or an IUD. Usually in about, well, it depends, IUD or birth control, but a lot of times conception does happen, and what happens is because the uterine lining has been thinned, the baby will die. So what happens is...
Yeah, I support eliminating that component of the birth control.
Well, in order to eliminate conception, you would have to just be abstinent, because conception happens in a lot of times with...
Wait, I don't want to eliminate conception. I think we should have more babies. The difference between you and I is that if I conceive a baby, I'm willing to take care of it. You're not.
I'm telling you that you've conceived children that have died and you don't even realize that.
You don't know that because birth control serves two functions. It thickens the mucus in the cervix.
Yes.
And it also can shed the uterine lining.
Correct.
Now, those are two different components of the pill, and I support eliminating the one that sheds the uterine lining.
But in order to...
All right, guys. We're going to check this out. He was supposed to be talking to people in New York about Zohran Mamdani, but they're talking abortion. So I'm going to go over to this. All right, this is also Cam Higbee. This is his YouTube channel and one of his comrades that he rocks with. And they're having a conversation here with an entire Muslim legion, apparently. Wrecked, instantly turns to threaten violence. Check this out.
We are at UT Dallas today. We are debating that Islam is incompatible with the West and the United States of America. I'm joined by Prax Ben. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fearless Debates. Let's get into it.
You say Islam is incompatible with America. Would you say incompatible or is it illegal?
Incompatible.
Okay.
It's not illegal to be a Muslim here, but Islam is incompatible with the United States.
So it's a personal opinion?
Yeah, it's a personal opinion, yeah, but it's stemmed by the fact that Islamic law is in direct conflict with U.S. law.
In Islamic law, we believe the law of the land, meaning whatever land you live in, you have to follow the laws. I'm Muslim. I want 4 wives, but it's not possible in the United States, you know, because you can only have one legally. So
if the laws where you can't be a Muslim, you follow that?
I'm sorry?
If the law was that you can't be a Muslim, you follow that?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't follow that, but that's not the law in the United States, and we're talking about the United States directly.
But if it was the law, hypothetically, you're saying that the doctrine of Islam is to follow whatever the laws of the land are. If the laws of the land are that you cannot be a Muslim, you convert?
No, you would leave the land. You have to live in a place that allows you to be a Muslim. Because as a Muslim, that's
the United
most
States
important
doesn't
thing.
allow you to practice Islam in its full capacity.
It does. That's why Muslims live here and practice Islam.
No, it doesn't.
There's mosques all around here. You might want to go to one. We practice Islam very freely. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I can cite you, like, for example...
Alhamdulillah, 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 Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. I mean, these people are absolutely insane. I mean, he literally just said that they follow the laws of the land, but then he said that they don't. So if the law was you can't be Muslim, you're not going to follow that. But we follow the law of the land. Like that. Mean what you say and say what you mean, brother.
Quran chapter 4 verse 34, as to those women on whose part you fear disobedience, admonish them, forsake them in bed, and strike them. You can't strike women in this country. The Quran also says that if a woman, the Hadiths say that if a woman refuses to sleep with a man, if he beckons her to bed and she doesn't come and he sleeps angry that night, he is to punish her via striking her.
Muslims follow the law of the land.
Right, but you just said they don't follow the law of the land because if the law of the land was that I'm not finished. I know mistranslation, blah blah blah. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you think
mistranslation. That's what they always say. Was it mistranslated that Muhammad married a 6-year-old?
Oh, what about you? The people in Israel, they married 4-year-olds. Do you justify that?
The people who?
Who married 4-year-old? I think Joseph.
Anywhere that a 4-year-old is married.
Okay, Joseph did not marry a 4-year-old. Rebecca was not 3. She was not 4. That's a complete lie. It's a later fabrication that's not found in the Bible.
As Muslims, we believe we should respect every religion, so I won't ever tell you Christianity
Well, that's not
is
true.
bad.
That's just not true. Right? Surah Muhammad, Surah Muhammad, chapter 47, verse 4. So when you meet those who
Muslims
disbelieve,
aren't
strike their
perfect,
necks
but Islam is
until you have
perfect.
inflicted slaughter upon them. You don't respect all religions. You say to kill infidels. That's what your Quran says.
As Muslims, we respect every religion.
Then why does it say in Surah Muhammad, chapter 47, verse 4 of the Quran, so when you meet those who disbelieve, strike their necks until you have inflicted slaughter upon them?
Please read the Quran in its entirety. That isn't talking about today. There's going to be a war of Armageddon. I think Christians believe that as well.
This isn't talking about a war of Armageddon.
Do you want to talk about the war of Armageddon?
What about
Which side will you be on?
Not yours, that's for sure.
By the way, if you are a Muslim and you respect people being Christians, we appreciate that. You are allowed to be a Muslim. We don't think that should be illegal, and we will not treat you with hatred in any way. However, we do believe that Islam itself is against this, because in Surah 98:6, it calls Christians the worst of creatures. So we appreciate that you're being kind to us, but we just don't think that's consistent with Islam.
Okay. And also, to be clear on what Ben's saying, while I don't think it should be illegal to be a Muslim, I pretty much do, because I think it should be illegal to practice most of the things that Muslims practice. I don't think it should be illegal to personally identify as a Muslim, but you, for example, shouldn't be allowed to beat your wife. You shouldn't be allowed to force your wife to sleep with you. You shouldn't be allowed to harm and punish gay people. You shouldn't be allowed to kill infidels, which the Quran calls for. The Hadiths call for them. The Hadiths say the day of judgment will not come about until the Muslims fight the Jews, killing the Jews. When the Jews hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, "Oh Muslims, oh Abdullah, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him." I don't believe in killing people because I don't believe in your religion. and thus I don't believe you should be allowed to practice Islam to its full extent.
Before I say anything, I want to ask you, do you have any opinions on defending Christianity, or do you just want to avoid Christianity altogether?
I do Christian apologetics. I have a TikTok account, which I don't post on too much because I'm still learning a lot. I'm still reading Christian apologetics books. I think it's Orthodox Clips, if I'm not mistaken, on TikTok. I don't have many followers, I don't have many videos, but I do Christian apologetics a little bit. I'm kind of dabbling in it. It's a little bit of a new thing for me.
Would you defend Christianity or oppose it?
Yeah, Christianity's true. I'm a Christian. I'm an Orthodox Christian.
Okay. So we want to ask you, when you say Islam is incompatible with America, what makes it incompatible?
Oh, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So there are several verses both in the Quran and in the Hadith that are in direct contradiction and conflict with our laws here in the United States. Laws that I think should exist, laws that I think are correct, like, for example, you can't marry or have sex with children, like the Prophet Muhammad, who is a pedophile. He married Aisha at the age of 6 and then consummated her at the ripe age of 9. He raped her. Children cannot consent to sexual intercourse. Furthermore, the Quran says, as for those women on whose part you fear disobedience, just the fear of disobedience, not the actual action of disobedience, forsake them in bed and strike them. So beat women who disobey you.
Okay, so
furthermore,
you're bringing up verses from the Quran that have illegal things, right? But
yes.
Do you believe that these verses being in the Quran leads Muslims to actually commit these illegal acts?
It actually is an order directly from God, right? As for those women on whose part you fear disobedience, admonish them, forsake them in bed, and strike them. The hadiths are very clear about women as well. If a husband calls his wife to bed and she refuses, and he spends the night angry with her, the angels curse her until morning. Sahih al-Bukhari 2658, the Prophet said, a woman's witness is worth half that of a man's because of the deficiency of her mind. All of you women in hijab, your minds are deficient according to the Prophet who married a 6-year-old.
Okay, I think I'd like to cut you off here. I want to remind you guys, or I think it's important to remember the First Amendment of the United States Constitution allows freedom of religion. I remember you saying something about you're okay with people identifying as Islam or something, and you don't want to hate them or hurt them in any way. I really respect that and I really appreciate that. And I understand if you yourselves don't subscribe to Islam for your own personal reasons, but I believe that I don't see what your argument. What do you mean by incompatible with America? What is it about that makes it incompatible?
Yeah, like I just said, Quranic law directly contradicts, is indirectly in conflict with the laws of the United States of America. Like, for example, the Quran calls for women to be beat because they do not sleep with men. Furthermore, the hadiths say that any woman, their witness in court is worth half that of a man's because of the deficiency of their mind. We don't do that here. You're also called to punish gay people. We don't do that here. You're also called to kill infidels and disbelievers. A lot of stuff about Jews, killing Jews, the Day of Judgment will not come about until the Muslims fight the Jews. Killing the Jews is Sahih Muslims. And you talked about how these things don't necessarily mean, because they're ordered to do these things, doesn't necessarily mean that it goes into practice. But if we look at the majority of Muslim countries, child rape is legal in Yemen, Somalia, Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Iraq, Lebanon, Sudan, Maldives, Libya, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Jordan, Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria.
Okay, so the problem with your argument here is that you're saying something being in the Quran or the Bible or whatever holy book means that their followers will do that. But that's not the case. When you look at Muslims, Jews, Christians all around the world, most of them don't actually commit things like child rape.
That's not true. I literally just gave you a list of countries where it's legal to marry and rape children.
You're bringing up third world countries. The problem is not with their religion.
They're third world because they're Muslim.
That's just objectively not true.
If you look at people in the West, are most of them practicing these things? No. A good chunk of them do think that they can practice these things. Is that like 20%, 25%, something like that? They think they should be able to practice these things. But you can't just look at the people in the West. Muslims who have lived in the West, many of them have assimilated and they have a lot of Western values and they don't think you should marry children, okay? But that doesn't change what the Quran actually says. That doesn't change what Muhammad did. That doesn't change what happens in the Islamic countries. It used to be the case that pagans would sacrifice babies. They don't do that today in America, at least not openly, right? They're not allowed to do that, right? So we do believe in religious freedom. We believe pagans should have religious freedom, but if they think we should sacrifice babies, infants, like, no, you can't do that. That's illegal. It's illegal to murder babies. It's illegal to sacrifice people. It's illegal to eat people.
The problem is the version of Islam that you're bringing up is like a corrupted, badly interpreted version of it.
Well, how would you know that?
Well, I mean, how would you know it better than me?
Well, we can look at what the Islamic countries actually do. We can look at what a majority of Muslims actually believe, and it's consistent with what we're saying. You can look at history, look at the Muslim conquest.
It's that you're taking Islamic nation states as the true interpretation of Islam, but I'm saying that most people in the West that practice Islam, that's how they're actually interpreting.
Yeah, in the West, because they've assimilated.
That's how they're practicing Islam, because they're not allowed to practice Islam to its full extent here because it's illegal to do so. Like, you can't beat your wife in the United States of America. It's called domestic violence, and it's illegal, right? You can't rape your wife in the United States. That's called spousal rape, and it's illegal. But if you look at Arab countries, Muslim countries, it is legal to do it in those countries because they have Muslim governments, right? We don't have a Muslim government here, and we shouldn't ever.
That's disgusting.
Okay, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. The problem, crimes happen because the countries are underdeveloped, not because of the religion.
They're underdeveloped because they're run by Muslims.
How does that even make sense?
I think it would be the case probably that when your highest authority on religion is a pedophile who married a 6-year-old, your culture repeatedly oppresses an entire half of the population, women, who aren't allowed to leave their homes without a permission of a male guardian. Their testimony is worth half that of a man's. You're probably going to be more of a shithole in countries that take full advantage of women and allow them to be successful in the world, right? Your economy is going to be stronger. Women are going to come up with more inventions. You're going to thrive naturally because you have 50% more people producing things.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So my closest friend is from Palestine. He's a devout Muslim. Do you believe that his existence
He's
is
from where again?
Palestine.
Where is that?
It's in the Middle East. It's on the Mediterranean.
Never heard of it.
Can I finish my question? Do you believe that his existence is incompatible with America?
Doesn't exist.
It depends on what he believes in.
He believes in Islam. He's a devout Muslim.
Then yes.
He is one of the kindest people I know.
If he fully follows Islam, then yes.
How do you know Islam better than him?
I've just read the Quran. Like, I don't know. I already said. How about this? Again, do you think this is compatible with the West? Do you think this is compatible with the United States of America? Surah Muhammad, chapter 47, verse 4. So when you meet those who disbelieve, strike their necks until you have inflicted slaughter upon them. I don't think so. Do you think that marrying a 6-year-old is compatible with the United States of America? I don't think so.
I think very few Muslims in this world would directly read from the Quran and do exactly what it tells them.
Well, if they're not reading directly from the Quran and doing what it tells them, they're not a Muslim.
Yes, they are. They identify as Muslims.
Ben, if I call myself a Christian but I follow nothing the Bible says, am I a Christian?
No.
If you identify as Christian and do everything that the Bible says directly, you would be a very
right. The problem is you're saying they don't follow the Quran. They don't slaughter disbelievers. They don't hit their wives. They don't force their wives to have sex with them. They're not actually practicing Islam. They're just omitting major portions of their religion.
So do you believe that no Christian in the world is a true Christian because they don't follow every part of the Bible? Do you believe no, Jew is a real Jew?
The whole thing about Christianity is that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins. You're not supposed to sin. You're supposed to try to limit sin as much as possible. But ultimately, you're saved if you've accepted Christ as your king. Am I mistaken?
No.
Yeah. So basically, I'll give you 1 out of 1,000 examples. The Bible says if a man breaks the Sabbath, then he'll be stoned to death or something like that. Obviously, no Christian does that.
Yeah, no, you're referring to Mosaic law. Mosaic law was not intended to be a perfect law. It was a law for the people of the time. This is what Exodus says. It says Mosaic law is not a perfect law. In fact, there were changes in Mosaic law by the judges as society changed. So they were dealing with a deeply imperfect society. and it was an imperfect law. Mosaic law is not biblical law, and it's not law we're meant to follow today. It was specifically for the people at the time. Now, there are certain morals within Mosaic law that are universal, but Mosaic law itself is not universal, and Christians do not hold to that. At least most, like there's certain sects of Christian that say we have to adhere to Levitical law. The Orthodox Christians, mainstream Christians who believe the same things first century Christians do not believe that.
Okay, I think we're on the same page about pretty much everything. Religion is extremely complicated. How you interpret it and how you practice it can vary depending on the individual in your country, wherever. I think your statement, Islam is incompatible with America, has deep implications of hatred and violence that I do not align with.
We're not calling for violence against anybody. That's what makes us different than Muslims. Nice to meet you. How's it going? Cam, nice to meet you. You gotta talk kind of close to it.
Alright, so firstly, I want to correct you that an Arab country is not a Muslim country. There are Christians that reverted and Jews that reverted. Secondly,
do you contest that these countries are run by Muslims?
Secondly,
Iran, Saudi Arabia.
Secondly, I'm not an Islamic. I'm not a Islamist. I'm a Muslim. Okay, and I want to talk about the main topic that you love to talk about is pedophilia.
Yeah.
The biggest. Islam is incompatible with America. You think that Islam is pedophilia? Diddy Party, Epstein Islands. Who is Trump? Where is Trump from?
Can you prove? Wait, what about Trump?
Well, Trump is in the Epstein files, man. You don't think he's a pedophile?
Okay, can you prove that he's a pedophile? Prove he's a pedophile.
The way he talks about his daughter,
I can prove that Muhammad is a pedophile. It's in your religious text.
Okay, but why do you care about pedophilia this much? That's your only thing that you talk about.
Why do I care about pedophilia so much? It's wrong to be a pedophile.
It's
Let's
wrong to
start
be
there.
a pedophile, but that's
and
not,
your prophet is a pedophile.
Hey, if I was against Islam, the only thing that I would pull out is not pedophile. There is so much other stuff.
Yeah, like beating women, killing infidels, etc.
The verse that you pull up, strike your woman if they don't do such. Brother, this is not even a translation with Arabic. Strike in the context of English means you go on strike as if protest. Just go in a separate
That's
bed,
not
man.
what it means.
That's what
the Arabic word directly means to hit.
You said English. You didn't even say the Arabic word. What's the Arabic word?
I don't know how to pronounce the Arabic word because I don't speak Arabic. But the translation, if you look at the Arabic word that it uses in the Quran, it means to hit somebody.
Strike. Okay. Secondly,
you guys always say, "Oh, it's a mistranslation. It's a mistranslation. It's not a mistranslation."
You reverted to Christianity. Am I right? Am I right?
Recently.
Okay, so why are you talking about Islam this much? I feel like you read the Quran more than your actual Bible.
I'm working on reading the Bible.
Well, yeah, read the Bible, man. You don't understand. You don't even have to read
What
the
does that have to do with Islam being incompatible with the West?
Okay, first of all, what is the West? What is so great
Western
about the
civilization, the United States of America. Okay. Islam is incompatible with America. That's what the sign says. What does what you're saying have to do with that?
Okay, you're saying that
defend your religion.
Islam is incompatible with the West. What is so great about the West? Why do you love the West?
Oh, you know, well, we don't hit women. We don't rape children.
You do hit women.
We don't kill infidels.
The abuse rate is so high, man. Every single one.
Wait, what do we do? What do we do when somebody rapes a child? We send them to jail.
Bro, in Islam, we'll cut your head off if you rape a child.
Oh, really? Okay, so then why is child rape legal in Iran, Yemen, Afghanistan, Somalia, Lebanon, Iraq, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh?
Sri Lanka,
it's legal in Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, Jordan, Egypt, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, Libya, Maldives, Sudan, Lebanon, Iraq, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, Somalia, and Yemen.
Every one of these guys have deals with CIA and America. Every single one of these guys do not follow the Sharia law. That's why there's so much revulsion, because none of them actually follow the Quran.
Saudi Arabia doesn't?
Huh?
Saudi Arabia doesn't?
Hell no.
What about Yemen? Iran?
Right now,
you think Iran is a CIA
right
state?
now, all of them have ties with Trump.
Iran has ties with Trump?
Iran is struggling with themselves, man. They're not following the Quran. They're not following the religion and stuff like that.
What about Afghanistan?
Brother, Afghanistan, do you not realize they
Pakistan?
have the biggest ties with CIA?
It's always, just like the communists. It's just like the tankies. Well, they're not real Muslim states.
Okay.
What about these countries before the CIA existed in the 40s?
Before the CIA existed, they didn't have any ties with the West. They were doing good, all right, man.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, you don't think that's true? Okay, good for you.
Countries have always been raping children. It was legal to do this in the Ottoman Empire as well.
Yo, how many priests has everyone heard had so many cases with kids, raping kids?
Hey, what happens to those priests? They go to jail.
And then they go to Israel. Then they come back.
No, they go to jail.
You can search up.
You
can search
jail.
up. Hey, if I search up on this sex offender list right now,
Christian priests can't go to Israel because they're not Jews.
If I search up right now and sex offender lists around pedophiles near me, how many of them come up as white men?
What does that have to do with Islam?
Brother, you're saying Islam is incompatible with America. If Islam is pedophilia,
we send sex offenders to jail. Your people don't.
You send sex offenders to jail, brother. I see them walking all the time, everywhere. What are you talking about?
They don't go to jail forever, but they get labeled as a sex offender forever.
Why don't they go to jail forever? If you rape a child, why do you deserve to live?
Listen, I'm on board with you, but the problem is that Muslims don't send them to jail at all.
Yeah, we kill them, bro.
Right.
You don't kill them. Did you guys kill Prophet Muhammad, who married a 6-year-old?
Prophet Muhammad, I said I've never married a 6-year-old. If you want to
He married Aisha, a 6-year-old, who said that she herself was married at 6 and consummated at 9. He raped her at 9 years old.
Where's your source? Pull up the hadith right now.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm happy to. Sahih al-Bukhari, 5134, wedlock. The Prophet married her when she was 6 years old and consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. Hisham said, I have been informed Aisha remained with the Prophet for 9 years until his death.
So you do understand
He had sex with her at 9.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to you?
Wait, hold up. I get it. You said that 1,000 times, okay? Now let me talk, okay? There are so many classifications of hadiths.
Yep.
And a lot of them are untrue. They're not valid in this. So you have to talk about someone who's actually knowledgeable in this area, like a sheikh, to talk about this. Am I gonna talk about the Trinity and say that this is this and this is that without talking to a priest? You have to talk to someone about knowledgeable. Now, concerning with pedophilia and abuse rates in other countries, this is something that you can debate about. But regarding this, can you talk to me about the origins of the Bible and Aramaic and everything like that to me? No, you have to bring a priest.
Ask him about Rebecca.
Oh yeah, Rebecca. 9.
Rebecca was not 3. That's a blatant lie. You can't give it.
9.
Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse.
9.
Chapter and verse.
Okay.
Chapter and verse. You got it? You got it? No, neither of you have it because it's made up. It's made up. Rebecca was not 3. She carried water for the camels. How did a fucking 3-year-old? Oh, the Hulk. She's carrying this big bucket of water for the camels. You know how much water camels drink? Rebecca was not 3. Even if she was, this is not considered the moral standard. Muhammad is the moral standard in Islam. Okay, we don't look at what happened to Rebecca as the moral standard. But hey, guess what? She wasn't 3. I know you guys love to bring this up.
You love to bring up Muhammad and this.
Philosophy. So you're talking about the validity of the hadith about Aisha being married at 6 and consummated at 9. It's Sahih rated, which is the highest degree with the most validity.
You do know
that's your own Islamic scholars, by the way. They're saying this is correct.
Okay, you have Sanad and all these classifications of hadith. Even Sahih can be wrong.
These people are sick, man.
You are a bigot, and you are a racist, and you are an Islamophobe. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city.
Yes, go ahead. State your name and address.
God bless you, Mayor. God bless you, sir. I think
Thank you.
You also say that I'm an apostate, I'm going to hell, based on the videos that you dropped. So if I were you, I'd sit silently.
Okay.
Wow. That is the mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, laying into someone who spoke at City Council. This exchange has made news. Let's back up so you can see what happened in its entirety.
2 intersections have been named after Mr. Omar Siblani. I'm sure he's done a lot of good things for the community, starting the Arab American News. But one thing I'm very concerned about, which I think a lot of people in Dearborn would be concerned about, I mean, I could just read his direct quotations.
Can you tell us what the issue is?
Yeah,
Before
Councilman
we start
Abraham.
reading things, can you just tell us what your concern is?
Yeah, my concern is he's a promoter of
terrorism,
Hezbollah
and Hamas. And then,
Mr. Barham?
Yeah.
And Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you, Councilman Abraham. But your point, you're free to address your point, which I just wanted to make sure you're aware. The sign that was placed in that area is a county road and was done by the Wayne County Executive. It's not under control of the city, Dearborn or City Council. We can get you the list of their meeting, and you could go there and speak to the county commissioners, but we did not have the authority to overrule that or to suspend it there.
Yes, that's fine, and I did understand that, but I know that there were people in this room who were there at the ceremony for putting those signs up, and also it's in Dearborn, so I'm just speaking as a Dearbornite. Just a couple of quotes here. He talks about how the blood of the martyrs, I'm quoting, irrigates the land of Palestine. And then further quotes, he talks about how the terrorists should strike them with knives and with their bare hands, and they're victorious. And he also encourages the use of rockets over there. And then another quote from 2022, "We are the Arabs who are going to lift Palestinians all the way to victory, whether we are in Michigan and whether we are in Jenin." So the reason why I mentioned this is that it sounds like he could be inciting violence in Michigan. "Believe me," I'm continuing the quotation. He says, "Believe me."
He's not. I just want to be clear. He can speak for himself.
Well, this is speaking for himself.
I'm going to stop you because he's not a violent person. And
Like,
you
who
can
is this
interpret
guy?
his words any way you want.
Absolutely, he
But
can.
I will guarantee you he is not intending to incite violence anywhere in the world.
Thank you, Councilman
He could
Abraham.
defend himself if he were here, but
Sure.
we're not going to allow personal attacks in our community.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just reading his words here.
That's fine, but
They
you're
seem
interpreting
very...
his words after you read them. He did not use the word violence, did he?
Well, may I continue the rest of the quote?
Well, if you say you want to read them, you can read them. If you want to interpret and give your own opinion of what he's thinking, that's a different story.
Okay. Sure, I mean, I'd love to discuss this. I just want to finish the quote because there's more. Okay, I'll continue. Whether we are in Michigan and whether we are in Jenin, believe me, everyone should fight within his means. They will fight with stones, others will fight with guns, others will fight with planes, drones, and rockets. Others will fight with their voices, and others will fight with their hands and say, "Free, free Palestine." So I just find it very concerning. Did my 3 minutes include other people's words
that's
as
okay.
well?
There was some dialogue, but
Yeah.
as the councilman indicated, and just we wanted to make sure you be careful when you're talking about incitement or riot. There's legal terminations for that. There's legal precedent for that, and that's what the councilman has indicated, that you're drawing a conclusion that you have the right to draw. But as I indicated, the sign was placed from the county in that location.
These guys defend this real good, don't they?
Did you have anything else you'd like to speak on?
Well, it seems very provocative to have those signs up there. I mean, I also appreciate how he has helped to people to sympathize with, the people of Palestine, people of I feel like having that sign on the street. And as a Christian, I would like to encourage peace. I'm not just being like, pro-Israel in this and, fight back and that sort of thing, but I would like to encourage peace. And not violence. Actually, I'd like to quote from the words of someone who had the same enemy.
And I think it's quite hypocritical while you're doing it. For rebuttal is the best suggestion I have for you is to not drive on Warren Avenue. The comment I'm going to make.
That's what I would like to actively try to encourage to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barham. Sir, if you'd like to step forward.
I think the only comment I'm going to make is not
Mayor?
looking for a rebuttal is the best suggestion I have for you is to not drive on Warren Avenue or to close your eyes while you're doing it. His name is up there, and I spoke at a ceremony celebrating it because he's done a lot for this community. And I think it's quite hypocritical to know that you're approaching this podium when you yourself have videos on YouTube standing in front of my mosque saying the cruelest of things about Muslims, about the religion of Islam, because you are a bigot, you are a racist, you are an Islamophobe. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city. Because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence, you're somebody who tries to preach it, but in fact you do everything but that. So I just want to put that on the record.
Yes, go ahead. State your name and address.
God bless you, Mayor. God bless you, sir.
I think
Thank you.
also say that I'm an apostate, I'm going to hell based on the videos that you dropped.
His YouTube channel. Here he sings a song he wrote in front of a mosque. I can't find him saying anything bad about Islam. In fact, he seems to express his desire to understand and befriend Muslims. Perhaps there's something I'm not seeing. Or perhaps this is just another liberal crying about an ism that doesn't exist.
Yep. Imagine that. Imagine fucking that.
Contentious battle is brewing in Dearborn over a mosque.
We are allowed to take control of our own country. We're allowed to say, no, you're not going to Islamicize our cities. No, you're not going to do that. This is America. Okay, I want to actually go back to Dearborn for a moment. Because as we talked about Dearborn a little bit on the show recently, and I've been aware of the Islamicization of Dearborn.
Oh, it's
I hadn't
bad.
really looked into it that deeply.
It's real bad.
But the more you look into it and the more research you do about what's happening in Dearborn, it is insane. I mean, it is mind-blowing. I think people don't realize, however bad you think it is, it's so much worse.
Yep.
And if you live there, you know this, but for people that don't live there, you might not understand just how bad it is. Very controversial honorary street sign naming, I'm always prepared, extra water, checking the weather, the whole deal. That mindset should carry over to home preparedness too. If a storm knocked out, and he talked about how we shouldn't be divisive and all this nonsense.
I just wanted to cover a few things.
With only two names on the ballot in the next mayor election, the clash of religious freedom and free speech sparked by Barham's
a
remarks.
few more things on the. Here's an Oxford Union debate or speech on Islam as a peaceful religion. I just wanted to cover about,
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Lovely to see you all here tonight. We are having a very entertaining night, are we not, with some very interesting things being said. From the other side of the house tonight, let me begin by saying, as a Muslim, as a representative of Islam, I would consider myself an ambassador for Islam, a believer in Islam, a follower of Islam and its prophet. So in that capacity, let me begin by apologizing to Anne-Marie for the Bali bombings.
I just wanted to show you guys a few things tonight. Get a random live stream in. I'll be on in the morning again. We're going to cover some more of that trial. Get caught up. All right, you guys have a good night. We'll see you.